Welcome to Fast Effect Double Speed Magic the Gathering from ELD's Time Vault Games. We've got Dan on Reanimator versus Chris. It's actually going to be on Food Chain, which is, I guess, technically banned, but it's a whole lot more spicy. It has a bunch of different infinite wins, mostly with Walking Ballista at this point, I believe. Previously, they used to run Emrakul along with Fierce Empath. I mean, the deck has evolved, but it's certainly the best it's ever been. Picking up some great new tools that it shares with the banned control lists, cards like Prismatic Ending, Teferi, certainly complementing the older cards very well. And we've got Ice Fang Kotal, which still feels like a new card to me. I mean, Modern Horizons 1 at this point is out of print. Packs are soaring in price. And I don't know that we've fully absorbed just the incredible amount of cards from that set, but Ice Fang is going to pose a bit of a problem if Dan decides to use the attack step. See how his deck is built. This might be the Tin Fins build, which actually wouldn't need to attack. You can use Children of Corliss to just draw tons and tons of cards and then have whatever combo finish you want. Right now we've got Thoughtseize taking a look at Chris's hand, the classic response of a brainstorm to hide the good stuff on top. What's he going to show? The decision, and we see Mist Hologriffin, a pair of Walking Ballistas, and it looks like a Prismatic Ending and a couple of lands. Not exactly where you want to be. Less is Food Chain on top. And it is. Food Chain's on top. Dan's not going to have any responses. Reanimator. This is literally just death. So he's going to be able to sacrifice this Ice Fang for 3 mana. 1 more for the Mist Hologriffin. Food Chain, the engine of the deck. Utilizing Mist Hologriffin whenever it goes into exile, you can be casting it again, generating an extra mana every time, and then eventually the payoff is Walking Ballista as XX. X is a million, a billion, whatever you want. Be able to do just a whole ton of damage to your opponent and any pesky creatures they might have on board as well. So Chris finishing that one out very quickly. Looks like Mist Hologriffin was the card to take there with Thoughtseize. That would have kept Dan alive. Doesn't feel amazing. A Reanimator deck. But the right play is the right play. Of course, it can come back with Exhume. That may have been part of the thought process there. Not going for the Mist Hollow if you're going to be exhuming later. That doesn't feel particularly good. Mist Hollow with Food Chain, even if you don't have the kill, can be very strong. You're able to attack and then sacrifice and then cast it. Second main, giving it a type of vigilance. Of course, you can sacrifice before damage, so if you're facing down something like a Batterskull or even a Gristlebrand, you can actually block and then sacrifice before damage, making sure that they don't gain any life you on your aggro plan. So Food Chain's got a lot of tricks to it. Probably Dan's first time playing against it. It is not a commonly played deck, though it's certainly a known deck. I mean, this is a deck that's evolved. A lot of work's been put in on it. Not a huge chunk of the meta, but it's a very powerful combo finish and otherwise pretty solid shell. Not a ton of absolutely terrible cards in it. I guess the Eternal Scourge, I think is the name of it. The 3 casting costs creature that can step you into your Mist Hologriffin. That's not an amazing magic card. Obviously great with Food Chain, but not something you'd be happy to draw in any deck not playing Food Chain. Well, we'll see what Dan can do here. Looks like he's got a Chancellor to start out, so Chris won't have too much to say, even if he has 0 mana interaction, things like Force of Negation, Force of Will, Endurance. I mean, there's so many free spells now that can affect Reanimator. Chancellor, really valuable in buying that time. Got an Unmask, taking a look at his own hand, so he's going to actually pitch the Chancellor and hope that that's going to be good enough. Interesting. It does negate the food chain element. They have to pay an extra 1. And Chris clearing the trigger. So there's the initial trigger when you reveal Chancellor. And of course, there's the static ability that it has, or the triggered ability that it has, I should say. Whenever an opponent plays a spell, they have to pay an extra 1. Oh no. Swords to Plowshares shows up. So Unmask, taking swords, and then a swords right off the top of the deck anyways. Dan's in terrible shape now. Facing down Endurance to Fury. Yeah, this is a disaster. That went south very quickly. Endurance just getting in there. 3 damage at a time to Furies. Waiting in the wings to show up. Generate a little bit of card advantage. Flusterstorm holding down the fort. Pretty reasonable card to fluster. Actually letting the Entomb resolve. That's surprising. I don't think we've seen enough to know that this is Tin Fins. Dan did mention to me that that was his list, but Anime Dead could have really punished that line, allowing the Entomb to resolve. Flusterstorm can't do anything about Anime Dead. Damage just coming in there each turn. Just a couple of turns left. Mist Hollow Griffin shows up, adds a little bit of extra damage. Actually, exactly enough for lethal. We have a Dark Ritual, and this will probably just get Flusterstormed. No, so Shallow Grave. 1 floating. And that's going to do it. So, no combo that game for Chris. Manages to top deck his way out of that Chancellor and win with more just like a Bant Shell there for game 2.